there, a couple of y'all asked me to make a little blurb or whatever of how we do teepee gardening. And if a lot of you are, several of you are going to do teepees this year, I'm going to show you how we do it. We have an urban garden. As you know, we don't live on a farm yet. And so we're going through trying to make some teepees. And we did it last year, and we found that they had an enormous yield. You get more beans on a teepee than you ever would just in a flatbed garden or raised bed in a small suburban area. So we just did it real quick this afternoon. We want to show you what we're doing. Now, I do use heirloom seeds. I do not use burpee or any of that other hot mess you can buy out there. So first things first, make sure you're using your heirloom seeds. There are many sources that you can get them from. You can run down to the fresh market if you'd like, and you can get your non-GMO heirloom seeds. That way, when you grow your seeds this year, you can also harvest them for next year. So what we do, and there's many techniques for it, we're just going with what we know and are learning from. Last year we went and got bamboo. Bamboo grows very well here in East Tennessee. It's abundant. I can hook you up with somebody to get you some if you want some. But to make a teepee, we started with 6-foot poles of bamboo. Chopped it down. I would actually recommend that you do about 6.5 feet, maybe push 7, because you're going to have to drive it into the ground. And you want to have your soil worked up. We have already tilled. We do not have a full raised bed yet. When we move, we hope to do that because we'll have more area for larger composting, but we're not there yet. So anyway, so we've got our bamboo here. We got 5. You can do 6, but we just did a basic pentagon shape. We worked up the soil. We staked out exactly where we wanted our poles to be, drove them in the ground, loosened up the soil. We tied them at the top. You can use twine. I prefer garden twine. I think it works really well. Just did a basic tie off. And then we come back with another string and we do under and crossing. We do, double, triple knotting. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. But the beauty is when you come down here, and I went through each one of these step by step. Just a minute, Gabriel. Children interrupting here. What we do is we basically dig a trench around the bottom of each pole. And yeah, the bamboo is simple. The dirt looks very, very, archaic, but it works. So this is the first step, just digging your trench, make sure your soil is loose as possible. The next step I did is where I put my compost. I like to get my first layer of that little buddy down here already. I like my first layer of anything to be at the bottom, real loose and moist compost, because that's where your root or your sprout's going to hit first, so you need that. Next step, I'm just doing it by step, is you place your beans. I mean, come on, that's simple, stupid. And each one of these, we've counted each one of these right now is averaging about 20 beans. That's 20 separate plants that you could, potentially have on one pole. Now, we probably won't have 20. Gabriel, do you want to do this video? Okay, you need to be quiet. Chomp, chomp. Once you plant your beans, you cover them. I come back with a real fine, organic, loose soil. Make sure it's pat down nice, not too tight, but a good thick top on that. And then the next step, that's what it is here. The next step is going to be, you're actually going to have your beans come up. Now, I keep an eye on them. A lot of times you're going to have you have too many plants. So you're going to have to thin them out. That's up to you to eyeball it that way. You're probably going to average 12, maybe up to 15 plants per pole. And they'll start sprouting up. You know when to thin them when you start getting the leaves. And then once they get yay high, you just start working them around each pole. And after a couple of weeks, they just take hold, and they'll grow all the way up. We had so many beans last year. I think off of 2 teepees alone, I got 37 quarts canned green beans. That doesn't include what we ate fresh, gave away, froze, nothing. So for a very simple, 5x5 area, I don't even know if that's quite that big, you get a lot of yield. So this is how we do teepees. I'm sure there's a lot of other techniques, and a lot of you out there that watch will go, do it this way, it's even better. Like I said, we're still learning. This is our 3rd year, and this is where we're starting. So another real quick thing before I get dirt all over my face. You look down here, a friend of ours showed us the trick last year. And I would have never thought of this. Everybody thinks of grass as voodoo, taboo around the garden area. If you have your grass shape clippings, this will be your best friend. I would have never guessed that. It is so rich in nitrogen, and once you start getting your plants established, I literally would mow the grass. I would look forward to mowing so I could get 3 or 4 or 5 bags of this. Now, it's an area that I don't treat. I stopped treating the backyard 2 years ago. So I have clover, I have fresh grass, I have everything back here. There's no chemicals back here, so we don't treat it. So we put up with clover, but hey, that's what the bees like, right? So, but anyway, when you get things planted, and I'll show this a little bit later with some pictures with my tomatoes, you get those planted, this literally becomes like your bedding. Everywhere in your garden, but up to about 2 inches, 3 inches to each plant. You will have hardly any weeds. You will have not a wash away problem. You won't have a mud problem. And it takes several weeks to cover a good area. But once you do that, everybody complains about how difficult keeping up with the garden is. This is the trick, I think, because the water maintains the water and the moisture, keeps out the weeds. You're putting leaching nitrogen back into the soil. And I will never, whether it's a raised bed or tilled bed, I will never not utilize this. So that is your trick. So just a real quick little blurb there. We're trying to get this started, even though the garden may not be as big this year. But we're still going to press forward. So hope this helps a couple of you. And I'll talk to y'all later.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.